You're listening to the Flashbang Gaming Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Flashbang Gaming Podcast. It's been such a long time, I don't remember what episode number this is. I'm Edward and I'm joined again by Joe. Say hi.
Yo.
And once again we're joined by Jordan from The Drop Rate. How are you?
I'm doing good, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm doing good. This is our first episode in like almost 2 months, right, Joe?
Absolutely, and it was definitely not my fault.
We've got busy.
No, it's kind of both of our faults.
Well, yeah, because
I mean, you have to figure that right. How often have I spoke to you in a month?
Not much, because you've been super busy, and so have I. So
Yes.
It's kind of just been, it's been a problem trying to make any sort of content, including streaming.
But we're back. We are back once again.
I don't know how frequent episodes are going to be now, seeing as we actually have stuff to do
we
in
can
our
still
lives.
pump it out weekly.
We're going to try and pump stuff out weekly. We're just going to have to see what happens.
Yeah.
But we're back talking about video games.
And we've
which is
got
what
this
we want
person,
to do.
Jordan, right here, who was in, I think, was the 6th episode, I believe, when he.
Yeah.
I think it was around the episode 6, yeah.
Yeah,
So
episode 6. That's what I was thinking.
about God, that was a while ago. That's gone quick.
So how are you doing, Jordan? It's been quite a while since we last spoke as well.
I'm doing pretty good. We're kind of dealing with the similar things. Because I had a lot of. Yeah, well, I had like a lot of I have had like the craziest year basically with family issues and stuff like that. Like both of my parents actually passed away.
Jeez.
Yeah, so I
Sorry
know
to
that
hear
you kind
that,
of wanted
mate.
to talk about the YouTube thing as well, and yeah, I know, like it's so weird because like I'm so used to like that. Oh, sorry to hear that, and it's all right. Like it's just like such an awkward thing to always have to like respond to, but like yeah. And then are we gonna get into like the YouTube stuff at some point?
Yeah, you can talk about what's been happening with your channel recently. That'd be a good topic to talk about because it's actually very topical for what a lot of people are going through at this point in time.
Yeah. So like Greg, he got a copy of what is the most recent? Is it Shadow of War?
Oh yeah.
Shadow of War?
Yes, yeah. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so he got that early and was like, "Hey, should I stream this?" And we were all kind of like, "I don't know," because he actually purchased it with his own money. So I felt on the side that like, "Hey, you purchased something from a physical store that you now have. I think that you should go ahead and do it," and knowing that we could get in trouble for it.
All right.
Okay.
So he ends up streaming it. He's up for probably like 15-30 minutes, and we get our first copyright strike, which no big deal. You know, like you kind of have to like toe that line if you're gonna be like a content creator.
you kind of have to push the boundaries a little bit.
You've
with
got to
YouTube.
see you've got to dip your toes and see what you can do and what can get you in trouble. So.
Exactly, but there was a bug within YouTube, which basically.
Oh, fantastic!
If you got flagged for something like that, you're basically put into a list where you're kind of really watched with like a lot of scrutiny. So I had this idea where I was like, oh, I'm gonna do a bunch of $1 games off of Steam and kind of just like start covering them as like, hey, you know, is this worth $1? And I recorded like a huge backlog of them, and I uploaded 3 of them, which all 3 of them within the course of 20 minutes got flagged on a community level, but I couldn't do anything because you get the 3 flags and then you're off YouTube.
So this is like a bug with the system, and it's all automated, I presume.
Correct.
Yeah, it's because Google haven't bothered hiring people to monitor people's videos. They've just installed bots onto the website.
This is the problem with YouTube, because there's like no way to contact YouTube, and you can't really repeal these sort of copyright strikes and have someone actually, you know, at the headquarters or in an office manually review them, which is quite a bit of a nightmare, especially if you're a content creator.
Like, how difficult is it for a company as big as Google, who who are about the size of Apple to create like 100 new jobs for people to just sit there and just see if content's like offensive or not. Like, I don't see why that's so hard for a company as big as Google.
Well, you have to
like
kind of think
out.
as well that the amount of content that gets uploaded, so you can kind of see that side, but there's got to be some repeal process.
Yeah, you have the ability to appeal a decision, which gives you like
Yeah,
maybe
but it
two
does
sentences.
nothing, mate.
Yeah. So I remember at like it was like 2 or 3 in the morning at that time when I was uploading them, and like I just felt like warm and sweaty because I was just so afraid at that point. So then I like kind of messaged everybody being like, hey, so our YouTube channel is gone because I don't know what I did, and like the reason that they give you is so vague. And again, like this all happened over the course of like 20 minutes. So even if there was something I did bad on my end, I had no chance to fix it.
Well, usually... No, you go first.
That's an interesting situation. So there was nothing offensive of any kind in any of the videos. There was no like... And there was no like stuff in the videos that you didn't own or couldn't show, right?
No, this is all just like they're just standard, like how I would do like my normal quick look videos. It was just that, but for like these cheaper games.
Can I just
and
ask
you were
quickly?
Wait,
this more
you said
like
they
a
were
test?
community strikes, right?
I'm sorry, what did you say about the community strikes?
They were coming up as strikes from a community, right?
Correct. And so I got the first one, second one, and then like within a few minutes I got the third one, and then you're just locked out of YouTube. You can't even log in.
Can I just ask quickly, why didn't you upload it one at a time instead of trying to go for all 3?
I mean, you have to upload them one at a time, but like
yeah,
there's a lot
but
of times
like
where
I mean,
just...
in such a short space of time.
Oh, just because they were done. So I was like, I'm gonna put.
Oh,
3
they
up,
was
because
just
then
finished, so you know.
Yeah, I was gonna annotate the other 2 because it was like, oh, this is the start of a new series, so I'm gonna be like, oh, here's 3 right off the bat, with them annotated at the end of the video.
And
But,
they all got striked.
They all got strikes
That is-
like within minutes.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so like we're sitting there and like, what do we do? And like I remember like at that point I was like, I'm gonna go to VidMe and actually set up like a VidMe account because I'm like, hey, I should probably have a fallback plan in case something like this happens again. Because we had no way of like reaching out to anybody besides Twitter, and like we don't.
Yeah,
push Twitter
that's
that
a
much.
big issue. Because
Yeah,
you
so-
can't really contact YouTube, and I think for a lot of people that just go on YouTube and view, just watch videos, they don't really understand the side of what it's like to be a content creator that spend hours creating content just to then get flags like this.
I mean, we aren't big time, but we still put a lot of effort into what we do.
Yeah,
and it
well,
does
we kind of still understand what it's like.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that exact same way too. Like with what you're saying, like, in fact, we probably like as smaller content creators, we probably work harder than what a successful person would be because they already have that audience.
We're just trying to get noticed. Like people like PewDiePie are just throwing out try not to laugh challenges every week, and like and then he doesn't even edit them themselves. He has the money to hire someone to edit all of his content, so he can just sit back and just be a dick in front of camera for 10 minutes. Like, we actually have to really put in some elbow grease to get content out there, and to have, I can't imagine what that's like to just have all of that suddenly taken from you in like
not
a second
that,
by
but
some
I'm
bots.
looking at the drop rate channel, but the frequency of uploads is very consistent, very frequent.
I have notifications on for your channel, and like over when I wake up in the morning, but at least 10 of my phone notifications from the night are from your channel. Like,
You're just throwing out content left, right, and center.
and all of it's of high quality, and it impresses me.
It's nice, but it also sucks. Like what happened is that are you familiar with Keymailer? Like, have you heard of Keymailer at all?
No, I'm not familiar
no.
with that.
Well, a Keymailer would be for, say you're like kind of in the position where you guys would be as well. Like, if you hit a certain threshold, I don't remember if it's 25 or 50 YouTube followers or
Right.
Twitch followers, you can sign up at a site called Keymailer, and that's your way of having direct contact with different publishers and developers to get keys. So I ended up going through that, and I was actually able to get accredited through that, which is like the little check mark. So that was really nice. But then I started off accepting everything that came my way and requesting like everything under the sun. And so what happened then is that people weren't like approving it because I was unproven. But as I continued to do them and upload them, there's something in the background that like says like, hey, this person's actually following through with it. And then it just became a mess where like over the course of like 2 days, I think I got like 24 game keys. And I was like, I'm either going to do all these or have to like contact them and like give keys back. So I just opted to like kind of like burn through all of them. So we've had like definitely an increase of the videos get put up.
So
Well, at least you got free games.
Yeah, and like it's kind of funny because I've been at it for, I mean, as a whole drop rate, we're going to be on our 6th month this month. Like on the 14th, it's our 6 months that we've actually been active. So I've been doing this for like a month on Keymailer.
to be honest, I was wondering, like, there's so many games that you're uploading, like, where are they getting all these games from? I know, obviously, you know, you do pay for a lot of your games and everything, but there's just so much more than what I see in other channels, like bigger channels on YouTube. So I was kind of wondering where it was all coming from.
Well, I kind of like stumbled my way into what my thought process was because when I did Nintendo Switch coverage at the beginning, before like they, you know, just pretty much like unmonetized us completely from that.
Yes.
I found that like the smaller like indie developers were the ones that were like more appreciative, and you know if they did something in the future, they're gonna reach out to you like almost instantly because you have like that direct communication. So I just started when I started uploading these, I just kind of like reach out to each one of them individually, and that has been like super great because it's like they'll network me to be like, oh, like this person's doing something, I'll get you on that. And then we had like a test to do the GM48. It was like a game jam for Game Maker.
Yeah.
And someone contacted me and was like, hey, do you want to cover a few of these? So I did that. And it was just kind of like a test bed. And like that didn't really drive a lot of views because people aren't going to know about that. But then it's like now in the fall or in the spring, like they're like, hey, we want to bring you in to do like all the coverage. So it's things like that. Like you kind of have to do like the groundwork to see like where people aren't covering stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I get like a lot of I get a lot more keys than anyone else like within drop rate because Greg is very much like I don't want to touch anything unless I pay for it. Trent does mobile stuff, so he's just kind of doing his own thing. And then Todd and Brett, they end up leaving. So then Jeremy, who was actually one of the few people like 2 years ago when we were gonna form drop rate, like he was one of the people that I contacted. He actually is in there now, and for some reason he just kind of fell into clickers and all those idle games right now. So yeah, so he's kind of doing that, but yeah, we're kind of like at a weird point because we losing 2 people, and Greg with his wedding, and then my dad passed away in August, and then my mom just passed away at the end of October, and the good part of that is that I actually making videos is kind of like a stress relief for me, so that's why I can push out a lot more because it's fun and it actually makes me feel like I have like a sense of normalcy because with my dad dying, I had my mom there to help me with like a lot of that stuff, and now all that stuff falls on me and I have to make all those phone calls. So right now I'm kind of like in that in between where it's like, hey, I'm doing all this stuff and like that's super stressful throughout the day. So to come home and be like, okay, I'm gonna grab 3 keys, kind of play through a little bit, and then just put out quick looks, like that just is like I don't know what I would even consider that. It's just like a good feeling for me.
Interesting.
So the drop rate channel it's all back. Have you had any other problems with strikes recently, or is that kind of just fluttered away?
Oh yeah, I suppose. So we were originally talking about that. Yeah, we had strike issues after, but this is like something because I'm not going to give the guy's name out. If you guys run into issues, obviously I'll give you this dude's name, but I'll kind of tell listeners how to get there to find this dude. But there are people out there that are like, I don't know why they do it, but they
go to other people's videos and just strike them for no reason.
No, the guy that we ran into, he's part of like a small group. I think they're actually like somewhat within the YouTube community site on that side, and they go out there and they find like edge cases where maybe something isn't right, because YouTube will never ever admit when they have a mistake, or if there's something wrong with like the algorithm. In this case, where we were getting pretty much like striked left and right no matter what we did. And so I went to the YouTube Reddit and just kind of explain my situation. And somebody was able to like call him in, and he has been like a savior. I have him like on Twitter where it's just like if I have any issues, I DM him. He ends up like checking in on us now as well. And what ends up happening is that he has like the ability to appeal on our behalf within YouTube.
That's great.
So he
That's
can
good.
get stuff turned around within like 4 or 5 hours, because Drop Rate as a channel was like off for like 2 days. And the worst thing they do is that they say like this channel was removed for, I forgot the exact terminology, but then they had this big unsubscribe button. So it was no.
That's such just like the disappointment button. Like, all this hard work, people are just gonna leave now.
That's it. It's
Yeah.
all over.
And that's like, I remember because we had that we had our podcast and we had that meeting before, and it was like the most like sad feeling ever, because I mean at this point like we're around 375 subscribers, so starting over isn't the end of the world. I would have started over. I can't say that everyone else would have.
But it would have just been you on your own then.
Yeah, I would like no matter what. Like I'll continue going forward, especially because like this year we're actually going to go out to E3. I know Greg's going to go. I'm going to go. I don't know if anyone else is going to go. So I mean, I'm on that path where like I have enough contacts now where like we're able to set up meetings and stuff like that. So I'm kind of my door is still open. It's just Drop Rate might not have been, because that was like that day that we were off. Like I remember that was like a huge blow to me, even where I'm just like, like, is it worth it? Like that's when I scoped out VidMe and started uploading some things there, and I still do occasionally. But yeah, because at that point we're just like, do we even want to come back onto YouTube? But unfortunately, you kind of have to. There's nothing that's really rivaling it at this point.
No, the only thing that is rivaling YouTube is pretty much Twitch, and that's a completely different format of entertainment.
No, Daily Motion.
Daily Motion.
You ever thought about Daily Motion? Or what's the other
Daily
one?
Motion-
Vimeo or something?
Vimeo.
Yeah, I looked at both of those after, and yeah, there's like Daily Motion. I feel like you could kind of maybe find a path,
You
because there are
could
some
make
people
an
who are big
actual
on
channel on Daily Motion, have the biggest channel on Daily Motion.
there.
Put that on
Yeah.
the CV. Oh boy.
Oh.
The only thing I can see that does rival YouTube is Twitch, but Twitch is like, that's a completely different beast to YouTube, because that's just, it's all live, it's in your face, there's like live chat and everything. And I'm enjoying watching people on Twitch way more at the moment than I am enjoying it on YouTube, because all the stuff that's been happening on YouTube recently, of people getting demonetized and people getting false strikes and all of that, it's just the same stuff being uploaded every day, like, oh, YouTube demonetized video number 5, like.
Can I ask quickly? Do you stream a lot on Twitch?
Greg does, and Jeremy, I think he's kind of like, he's taking that part of it, like that's his baby. Like he is, like pretty much that's all he wants to do. Like he's still gonna do YouTube stuff, but like he's more on the Twitch side. And
I can understand why. When I stream, it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
Yeah, and like personally, I'm gonna attempt to stream more. Like we're gonna kind of figure out a schedule where so we're not overlapping or anything like that. Or running into anything.
I am gonna be streaming with Greg tomorrow, because we're gonna be doing Dark Souls together tomorrow afternoon for me.
Oh, lucky
okay.
you.
Oh yeah, because he's doing Extra Life.
Yeah.
But so Jeremy, because that was another discussion, was like, hey, do we just all go Twitch? Where like maybe that's gonna work for Jeremy and Greg, because like they're totally fine with that. I have this huge anal issue about it, where like I don't, even with YouTube, I don't like the fact that like I'm relying on a service to kind of host the videos. Like I always am in the mindset like I want to, at some point, if we get big enough, to make our own site to have people directed towards there, so we can leave YouTube at some point. And with Twitch, that's what scares me, because like if Twitch dies, you die with it. And that's kind of just, as somebody who would be like, oh, I'm trying to actually like make a quote unquote business, like that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Well, anything's subject to failure in life. You have to take that risk.
That's totally correct. And like the more that I look at it as well, like I'm going in a different path, I guess, because like for me, like my perfect ideal spot would be like, hey, like, oh, Giant Bomb finds you and like you could apply there or something like that. Like that was always my point of like making a backlog and doing this, was to be like, I want to prove that I can do it and then submit to someone that would be like kind of not what you'd necessarily call like an influencer, but I know that like websites are dying, newspapers are dying, but you see like Kind of Funny and like the Giant Bombs of the world. Like I feel like that's that next logical step. So that kind of aligns more with me, where I could see, I know Greg and Jeremy are probably completely different and want to be more like entertainment, where I want to do more like coverage, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I see where you are, yeah. You'd want to do like more of the news side and like show off the new games that are coming up, whereas they kind of just want to chill on a Twitch stream, just read chat and have a good time.
Yeah, if somebody wanted to write out a check so I could live comfortably to just be like a go through like the Steam library and be a curator, like that would be my dream job. Like, cause that's my whole thing, is like I love to go find a game that like nobody's talking about and nobody knows, and then try and bring light to it. And like sometimes it works, like with like the Cinderella Escape game that I covered. Sometimes it just fails miserably.
Well,
so you kind of want to. You kind of want to go down like the Total Biscuit side of gaming entertainment coverage, by the sounds of that.
It is, but like I will always probably lean to like more like the niche stuff, like some of the more, because I'm always afraid that I'm going to be like, I don't want to be like I'm playing funny games. I like to play more like something like in between, where like I play a lot of weird stuff, but like sometimes there's like, for example, like there was this game like called Darjuna, and that's available on Steam. It's like $8, and that was like one of the most like weird. Everything's done in claymation, but it's like this weird thing where it kind of dealt with like life in the Middle East, and it was like this weird like satirical or satirical, whatever that word is. Satirical take, where it kind of like made fun of like the U.S. and British troops that are there, and like kind of brought light to like some really like fucked up situations, and like it was this really awesome game that. It had all that, but it was really about it was almost like a Kill Bill style, like redemption. Like somebody fucked you over, and it's like, I'm going to go there and I'm going to destroy them and everyone associated with them, because they're on their path to redemption, basically, to get over that.
Interesting.
That sounds really interesting. So you kind of, I can see where you want to be in like the journalism side of it. So you want to play the games that are fun that not many people know about, but you don't want to... Would you want to do the big blockbusters like, hey guys, I'm playing Call of Duty? Like...
yeah, I mean, I'd be open to it, but like, there's so many people talking about it already that it's like, who's going to take my opinion? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to see that, you just go watch like something like IGN or something. You wouldn't want to look for the next, like the small YouTuber who's going to be talking about the new Call of Duty or something. You'd want to go to people who you know are going to talk like not hard facts about it, because you know what IGN are like, but like they're going to talk about it in the way you've seen it before, and it's just going to be comfortable for you, and it's going to make you buy it.
It's not just that, but also a lot of people that like review and cover these games tend to be quite either biased for or against. I'm guessing you want to be a bit more objective as well.
Yeah, and that's exactly correct, because like because I recently just did a quick look on Bubsy, which like I am so biased on Bubsy, but I still try to stay like not biased, because I am one of the like 3 people that likes Bubsy games a lot. So I don't know what that says about me, but I guess like if I could say anything that I would on that, if anyone, like if you guys were to look towards coverage, because like I'm not big by any means, but we're also getting to that point now where it's like people watch stuff without, maybe they don't interact, but like it was weird, because I remember when I first lost my job prior to this, where I started getting people reaching out and being like, chin up and stuff like that, and it's only got more like that, and that's what's weird to me, because it's just, I guess where I'm going with this is that you have to earn the respect of people before anyone will actually listen to you, which is extremely frustrating at the beginning. But if you just keep kind of like pushing that, like people are going to watch, they might not subscribe, they might not interact, but there's sometimes where like, the person that I am, where I'm going to Google search my name to see what people are like sharing the videos to and stuff like that. Like a lot of it, they always commended me for things like, if I'm playing something like Cinderella, which is like one of those like gratuitous like titties flying everywhere kind of game, I chose not to even talk about the sexuality of it, because what am I going to add by saying like, yeah, titties, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's part of the game. It's going to like push people away, but there actually was a good game there where I could defend it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you have been talking for nearly 25 minutes.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Do you want to...
I think it's time to move on to what the main topics of this podcast, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, let's get into our only segment of the podcast, and that is the roundtable.
It's the roundtable where we debate the biggest gaming topics. Only on Flashbang Gaming Podcast.
Alright, welcome to the roundtable. Now, this week was Paris Games Week, and PlayStation had, Sony had a conference showing off more stuff for the PS4 that's coming out next year. Well, I say more stuff, it was all the stuff that you saw at E3 and Gamescom, just new trailers.
Yeah.
What are your guys' takes on what you saw, if you did see anything?
Well, I didn't actually watch the conference, but I did just watch a few trailers before this, and I'm quite impressed with what Sony's coming out with recently.
I can't say I'm not either. I'm really excited for most of the games that are coming out for the PS4 next year. Exclusive or not, they all look great.
Especially the first trailer I watched, which I think was Ghost of something. I can't remember the actual name.
Oh yeah, that's Sucker Punch's new game, right?
Yeah, that's Sucker Punch's.
Yeah, that looks great.
Fantastic.
No, I didn't see that one. Like, I didn't watch the conference, but I watched a few trailers, but I did not see that one. What's the name of that again?
It is... Hold on, let me search... Ghost of Tsushima, I think it is.
Oh, Tsushima. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think that's how you say it, yeah.
Yeah, when I first saw the title, I thought, Ghost of Toshiba.
Toshiba? Nah, the trailer, it looks like it's set in, like, Samurai Age Japan. There was a lot of fire, and looked like there was
Lots of fire and smoke.
Some killing going on. It looks to be kind of like, I don't want to say it, but a Souls-like game, because it's all like samurais and stuff.
The way they're describing it is quite an open world game.
And I trust Sucker Punch with my life, so that game is going to be good.
Looking forward to picking that up. Jordan, what trailers did you watch?
The Monster Hunter one would probably be like what I guess I consider like the highlight, because I'm not a Monster Hunter fan at all, but it's selling me towards it.
It looks so good.
And
oh my goodness.
The Last of Us 2 trailer, like, I also liked, and I hated that there was like that hubbub around it, like where everyone was complaining about like the content of it, like, or I don't know, like I just didn't agree with them, because like everyone being like, oh, it's just like torture porn at this point, like, it's like, shut up.
I mean, I think a lot of people had criticism with The Last of Us 2 trailers, because it looks like such a different story to what the first game was. I guess, but because it seems like
I don't know. I haven't watched the trailer yet.
It looks like it deals with a lot different content to what the first story did, because if I remember correctly, The Last of Us 1 story was all like, it was a father and daughter, wasn't it?
It was, they weren't related, but like he had to basically become her father in a sense like that.
Yeah. So I guess people became quite attached to that style of storytelling through that game, and now because the second one's going to be... it looks like the second one is going to be... I don't know, really, because like a woman got hung almost, like, it was very different to the first one. I think it turned quite a few people off, but I'm sure once more stuff gets revealed and you actually see some gameplay...
To be honest with you, it depends on the execution. If they do it right, then I think it'll be a sequel worth playing, because I think it's good that some developers actually, when they make a sequel, like, try something a bit different to make it a bit more unique from the first game. If you see where I'm going with this. But it also depends on how that gets executed as well. If it's not really on par with the sort of the gameplay in the first game, then yeah, you're definitely going to turn quite a few people off.
Because you. Oh no!
Sorry,
you go first.
go
You
on.
go.
Okay, well, I was just gonna say like I'm not a fan of Naughty Dog, so I'm like the rare person that like with The Last of Us, I love the story. I hated any gameplay. Same thing with Uncharted. Like I hate anything that has to do with gameplay, but the story just kind of kept me along. And I don't get why anyone would doubt that Naughty Dog couldn't pull off another great story.
Naughty Dog tell the best stories in gaming, and they've proved it time and time again. So I don't see why people have a reason to doubt them. Like, people are still ranting and raving about the Uncharted storyline, and that game, I mean, it's not the best game to play, but everyone loves the story of that.
It's
like they've been so loyal to PlayStation over the years, just constantly pumping out great story-driven games that I don't see why people don't have a reason to trust them with the continuation of The Last of Us.
The games like the Uncharted series, people always say that the story of them is like better than a lot of movies that come out today.
Exactly, so I mean, people may have been getting turned off just because of the contents of the trailer, but I'm sure once they see more stuff get revealed about it, they'll be right back on the bandwagon of The Last of Us. I have no doubts in my mind about that.
Well, it doesn't matter what happens, it's still going to sell a lot of copies.
It's going to sell, yeah.
And that leads me to my next point quickly, because Jordan, I'm going to ask you this first. What do you think of the sort of the game lineup for autumn 2017 or fall 2017? Because I think 2018 is probably going to be a better year than 2017 for gaming.
Yeah, so I'm a little tinfoil hat here, because to me it seems like that's a very good end of the PlayStation 4. And I feel like 2019 will be, like, the way that I see it is like, so going into 2018, I feel like we're going to see PS5 at E3, or maybe a little bit later, because what comes after E3 is Gamescom? Is that
Gamescom,
after E3?
yeah.
We're gonna see it somewhere within that, maybe even hinted at the PSX this year, and I just have that feeling that we're gonna see PS5 like.
Are you sure about that PlayStation 5 next year?
Not next year, but it's gonna be shown and talked about, and then 2019 launch. So a lot of people, Greg thinks that they're gonna run PS4 into like to 2021, kind of like around that frame.
No, it's way too obsolete already to go into the 2020s.
Yeah, and like I kind of almost feel like Sony's gonna take advantage of the Xbox One X, because like now with that coming out, it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna sell well, but it's like the huge issue I have is
it's gonna set the standards though.
I mean, like if they would just would have took the Xbox, if they just would have had this be the next Xbox, I'd be there like on what is it, the 7th that comes out. I would be there lined up waiting for it, because that is like the very true system where VR is totally going to be capable and good because of the hardware inside. And right now with it being like the equivalent of like somewhere between like a 1060 or 1070.
I think it's
like,
1070.
Yeah, like that is a man. If you were to buy one of those cards today, like you're set for a few years. Like that is the true leap of technology. Where if Sony kind of lets them continue to just be Xbox and just do everything to kill themselves for whatever reason, they should take advantage of that.
Well, especially as well, you think about it, you're getting the GTX 1070 equivalent with a $500 price tag, which I think it is.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, $499. Yeah.
$499. Now that is a cracking deal, because if you were to build I actually when they announced the Xbox One X and they announced the specs as well for it, I actually did a few little calculations to find out what would it take to build the PC equivalent to it, and I know this is going to be in pounds, but you're looking at more at least £1,200, between at least £1,000 minimum.
Which is like, was that like $3,000 in dollars, something like that?
No, not $3,000 in dollars.
I don't know.
I think you're looking more on the line about $1,500 roughly.
Yeah, I don't know the conversion, especially in the post-Brexit world. I don't know.
Well, no, if it's £1,000 and I think it's roughly £1 to $1.31.
It's $1,307.80.
Well, somewhere around there anyway. But the point is, it's going to be at least twice as much of what you're paying for the Xbox One X. Now, I usually don't have a lot of good things to say about Microsoft and the Xbox, especially for this generation, but they hit the nail on the head with this. Especially by the fact that, if you think about it, there's no reason why they can't price it at $500, because any higher than that, then it probably won't sell at all. And not only that, but I think what makes it cheaper as well is you've got things like economies of scale and all that. So, you know, if they're producing thousands upon thousands of the same CPU chip, then it's obviously going to be cheaper as well.
Yeah, it's just their commitment to backwards is just making, like, Destiny 2 should be 60 frames a second on the Xbox One X, like, period at the end, but it can't be because of the competitive advantages. And that's what bums me out, because, like, this console is so powerful, and the exclusives that will come out, you know, the 1 or 2 that will come out next year, like, they could take advantage of that, but everything that is, like, multi-platform isn't, and they don't have the exclusives to really push that.
Well, they
kind of
basically
hardware.
don't have any exclusives because they're all on PC anyway.
Exactly, yeah.
But no, it's a Microsoft exclusive.
Bullshit.
That's what they keep telling us.
I hate that. That irks me as much as, oh, we made the Dark Souls of insert genre here. Like, I hate that phrase, Microsoft exclusive. It's not true.
Yeah, it's going to be weird, and that's why I'm actually excited to go to E3 this year, because, like, I don't foresee, like, Microsoft being in the console race shortly. Like, I honestly...
Can I just also ask you
It's
as
like,
well?
no, what I see from Microsoft, they're trying so hard to kill off Xbox, but people keep buying it.
Well, of
like,
course
that's
people
what
are going
it
to keep
seems like
buying
to
it.
me. Like, they're trying so
They're investors,
hard.
though. Like, the investors haven't wanted to have the Xbox division for so long.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and I feel like to me, it's like, why the hell don't you just make it like, do you remember when Steam put out, like, their Steam boxes, and they had some that had, like, Windows on it?
Oh, that was horrible.
Yeah.
See, I actually enjoyed that. I got one of the Alienware Alpha ones and had that plugged into my living room TV.
Wait,
And
really?
it was like,
Nice.
yeah, I loved it because it had Windows 10. Like, I wouldn't have went with the Linux option.
I like it
but-
because it had Windows 10.
That's the
But-
first time I've heard someone say they liked Windows 10.
Oh, I love Windows 10. Like, it's if you're comparing it to 8, like, Windows 10 is...
Oh, no.
Best
If
thing
you're
in the world.
comparing... I could compare a dog turd to 8 and it would be better. Come on.
Yeah.
No, if you're comparing it to, like... I prefer 7 because 7 was just, like, a reskin of XP.
I prefer
XP
Windows
is, like,
XP.
Yeah. But for me, it's like, I wish that they would just take something like the 1050 Ti, throw it in a box, and just call it the Xbox, but have it so that you can go in, you know, you purchase this console, have it dedicated to TV or plug in a monitor if you want, and then just have it access, like, the Microsoft Store, but then just open up to the full Windows. Like, why not just do that way? Like, to me, that just makes so much more sense, and it seems like that's where they want to get, because I don't know if you guys are on Windows 10, but, like,
No,
the
I'm
Xbox
on
stuff
Windows
that's...
10.
Okay, so I mean, they have, like, the Xbox front, and you see a lot of, like, it almost feels like they're trying to build out Xbox there. And...
I have Windows 10, and when I used to have my Xbox One, I pretty much did most of, like, buying games on the store and talking in parties. I pretty much did that on the Windows 10 application that was for Xbox. Like, I rarely used my Xbox apart from playing games because I could access my friends list, the store, party chat, all on my computer, and all I had to do, all I used my Xbox for, was to play games.
Well, it's kind of the same thing for PlayStation. If you got PS4 Remote Play, you can also do that as well, sort of.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, PlayStation. I mean, they're kind of set. Like, right now, like, PlayStation and Nintendo are just like,
Yeah.
they're...
I kind
They
of
are
want to
raking
it
ask
around.
though.
PlayStation and Nintendo, they're just raking it in right now. Like, Microsoft, they're trying to shill something where Nintendo and Sony just like, yeah, we're just making money. You can't stop us right now. We're just
This is the
printing
point
money.
I want to make. So the Xbox One X comes out. It's somewhat successful. Well, it probably will be successful for Microsoft anyway.
It's called an Xbox. There are people who are going to buy it.
Well, of course, people are going to
Definitely.
buy it. But, you know, when you look at that, and then you look at what could be in store for the next generation, do you think that PlayStation will excel the Xbox One X in terms of hardware and
Yes.
performance in the next few years when they launch the next generation console?
Yeah, they will, because all Microsoft have done promoting the new Xbox is constantly hammer home how fast it is. Like, they showed all of its specs at E3. PlayStation can just get to that point at that conference, pause it, and be like, right, we gotta put this in it to make it faster than this. Like, all they've done to shill that console has been it's fast. It's basically a computer. Buy it,
they're not
please.
exactly wrong on that.
Yeah, but the thing is, they've just let all their competition know these are our specs. One up us. Like, that's what it's. That's how I interpret it anyway.
Well, if this is how the next generation console goes, where we're seeing maybe they release the 5th generation console, and then we're now starting to see half generation consoles, which I don't really fully agree with. But if that's where we're going, and it's literally going to be a war on hardware and performance, man, that's going to be something to see, especially as a consumer.
My biggest hope is that they take a look at it and say oh, we're not, with right now with the advancements, we're not getting the same kind of step up that you would previously. So I really hope that somewhere deep inside Sony right now, when they're planning for PlayStation 5, they end up just taking the hybrid concept from Nintendo and then using because I know the Tegra X2 processor, and they could have that combined with an APU or one of AMD's APUs, and they could put out something with if you have them working together as far as the processor and then the APU. I think that they could put out something that could pump out equivalent graphics. It may to me it probably wouldn't make sense to hit exactly where Microsoft is hitting at this point, but if you just let technology advance a little bit further and let that Tegra X2 come out, because that can already put out games at 1080 no problem, just on the processor. So if you could take that,
was something I was a little bit disappointed when that was something I was a little bit disappointed with.
You should find I hope that they find a happy medium and just go that hybrid route, so that you kind of hit the Vita and also the PlayStation, the base, because it's super nice, especially as a father. I don't do Switch coverage, but even now it's nice that I can just undock it if she's watching TV or eating or something like that, and then dock it when she goes to bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If PlayStation could do something that's kind of like the Switch, then they've you think they're raking in money now, you just wait. People will be buying that forever. If Sony start making something that's kind of like the Switch.
It's also hard though, because people that haven't had their hands on a Nintendo Switch still think it's a gimmick, but once you have it in your hands and you're messing with it around your house and you're okay, this isn't a gimmick, games, this is how it should be. And I really hope Alienware or Dell puts out a hybrid PC. That would be amazing. Oh my god,
that's incredible.
Well, let's move on to our second topic for this podcast, and that is, I'm going to ask this question, and I'm going to give a bit of background information into this, and then we'll go ahead and discuss it from there. So, we've all heard of the game Fortnite, if that's correct, with you, Jordan. Have you played it? Okay, so basically, you probably have heard it a lot recently that Bluehole Studios is looking to take legal action against Epic Games, pretty much for obvious reasons, of course. But let me, I want to ask this question: should Bluehole Studios take legal action? Because I want to explain this quickly of how this kind of all started and the reason why they're quite upset with Epic Games. So Bluehole Studios, about 2 years ago, went to Epic Games to license a game engine. Now, perfectly normal in the when it comes to game development, you either build a game engine from the ground up or you license a game engine from another company. Perfectly normal. So they licensed the game engine for Epic Games. Epic Games gives them the go-ahead to use that game engine. And by the way, this isn't free at all. It's not, oh yeah, here you go. Especially if you're a big company and you're looking to make money off this game, you have to pay a fee. Now, Bluehole Studios develops PUBG It then gets released on Steam as early access, although I think it's coming out of early access very soon now, if I'm correct. So, Bluehole Studios goes to Epic Games, they get the licensing, they develop PUBG, they then sell it as early access, which I think is coming out now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's coming out of PUBG's coming out of early access next month.
Next month, yeah. So, yeah, they release it on Steam and it becomes a massive success. Meanwhile, Epic Games, the company that then licensed that game engine from, then makes Fortnite. Now, who's heard of Fortnite before they released that game mode? Before I mentioned
Me,
it?
I did.
I did, but it's also been in like development hell forever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So they released Fortnite, and it doesn't, obviously it's not nowhere near as successful as PUBG, although it's not quite the same game anyway, so you can't really compare it. But if we were to compare it based on popularity, then obviously PUBG excels Fortnite. But because it's not that successful, Epic Games then decides, you know what, we're going to take the elements of PUBG, put it into our own game, put a little twist on it, and then make it free to play on all platforms.
Which was really smart to do.
But you have to think about it this way. The reason why Epic Games is so pissed off is not because it's a carbon copy, but the fact that it's being copied by the developers. No, not by the developers, by the company that they licensed the game engine from in the first place.
Which is where I have my problem with Bluehole suing. Because they went to Epic to get Unreal Engine 4. Like, and you expect them not to capitalize on what you can do with Battle Royale and Unreal 4. You're using their game engine. You can't just suddenly go like, ooh, you're being successful off of... It's not... And then they said, did you see the statement that the head of Bluehole put out about this?
I can't remember exactly.
If you read it from... If you just take one snippet from base, it just literally reads, we created Battle Royale. No, you didn't. Have you not heard of H1Z1, King of the Kill? Like...
Yeah, and there's been other things that even predate that.
Minecraft Hunger Games!
You have to also think of it as well that they've released PUBG on Steam. Now, Steam takes a certain cut from each sale they make, and also when you license a game engine, you also have to pay the company that you license the game engine from for each sale of the game that you make, which means that their profit for each sale has decreased. So they're basically funding their own competitor to try and beat them in the competition.
You can't sue a company for that. Bluehole are too small to sue someone like Epic, to be honest. Like,
well, Jordan, what do you think of this? So let's say that you are the head of Bluehole Studios. Your game is doing absolutely fantastic, but you're having to then pay your competitors, or that you're not happy with the fact that you license a game engine from a company that's then become your competitor, which you're then having to pay for. What do you do?
To me, it's just a huge mess where I don't even know if anyone wins, because it's like, hey, if you piss off the person that you're licensing the engine from, what's going to stop them from just not supporting you?
exactly.
And in the instance like with PUBG and kind of comparing that to Fortnite, like Fortnite's so much better optimized.
Fortnite Battle Royale plays a hell of a lot better than PUBG does.
Oh, absolutely. I will agree with you on that one.
I mean, I think that's more because like Epic actually made Unreal Engine 4 and they know what to do with it. But
So you say the team at Bluehole Studio has absolutely no idea.
no, I'm not saying that. It's just
That's just the way you just come across with it.
no. It's also because I don't like Bluehole that much in this whole fiasco, because they're acting like, oh, we're the big dogs who created Battle Royale. Bruv, some 12-year-old did when they made their first Hunger Games.
Well, that's why
Minecraft.
they're trying to twist the words a little bit by saying, well, we're not angry because it's a battle royale game. But then they come out and say, well, we are angry because they made a battle royale game and we came out with it. I mean, yes,
And
In my
wait,
opinion, they
how
probably
do-
made it popular, but they didn't come up with it in the
and
first place.
how do we all know that Fortnite Battle Royale wasn't an idea that Epic themselves had from the start? It just took them longer to implement.
Well, we don't know the
this.
full story. That's the thing.
Exactly. Like, the head developer from Fortnite could come out and be like, plot twist, we funded PUBG the whole time. Yeet. Like,
To be honest with you, when I first played Fortnite Battle Royale, the fact that I think Fortnite came out in July, and obviously this came out end of September, I believe. And I was thinking, like, how could they make a game mode that runs really well in a space of a few months? It's almost like it was developed around it.
Exactly. Like, the crafting in the Fortnite crafting system works seamlessly with the Battle Royale mode. Like, it really does.
I think,
and
you know what this calls? I think we call for Greg to get on and debate this, because obviously I think he's a very big PUBG player.
Oh yeah,
think?
he's. For me, like, I played a good portion of it, and then I just realized that I don't even think I like Battle Royale games, like, as I was playing it.
I do really like Fortnite. I have now had hands-on time with PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't know where the hype is. The game plays like crap. Like,
When
it's
did
really...
you play it?
I played it a couple weeks back, and it was. I found it to be really clunky. Didn't play very well.
But then again, it is early access.
And I mean, Greg came from like Arma, so he's used to those controls where like
Oh.
Fortnite just
Oh
feels
yeah,
so
I mean,
much
I will
more
agree.
like fluid to me.
PUBG, it did come from a Arma 3 mods, I believe. So that's where it kind of got quite a bit of hype from in the first place.
Yeah, the Arma community is fucking loving it. So they love them tank controls, because like I couldn't even play Fortnite Battle Royale on my PS4 perfectly because of how well it controls on controller. Like, I was actually surprised because how well it controlled on my PS4.
Yeah, the only
After playing
it's just
the
such a
PC
shame
version.
that it's got quite a bit of frame rate drops.
Yeah, but I mean, but that's to be expected. The PS4 is clearly obsolete.
It is
now,
clearly on the way out.
but it's a great console port. Just a shame with the frame drops, but it plays
Yeah.
fantastically, and they also one-upped PUBG in the sense that when that game goes onto console, it's going to be $30 or however much it is. Fortnite Battle Royale for the foreseeable future is always going to be free.
Oh yeah, and they're also
Yeah.
releasing their other game modes as well for free next year.
What's there?
That's the part that I think is genius, though, is like pushing that out as a free update. Like, that's, I mean, you're beating PUBG to every console and everything like that.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They kind of had a little bit of a step ahead that they released it on
Like,
all
when
platforms.
is PUBG coming to consoles? They got
It's-
announced at E3.
Actually, I read an article earlier which said that they're releasing it onto the Xbox One in December.
December,
Yes.
right.
Uh,
I mean,
That's the question.
yeah, go on. Yeah, what's the question?
That, in my opinion, I've been wanting to talk about this as well, that I don't think games on these the current 8th generation console have got that much better in terms of performance since its launch.
No, like, going back to that Xbox One X hardware thing for a second. You know that new game Anthem, right? That everyone kind of got a bit hyped for.
Yeah.
That game's not gonna run at 60.
Interesting.
Like, I'm sure at E3 they said, like, oh, Anthem's gonna be 1080p, 30 frames per second, and it's just so frustrating because that console has so much potential to do amazing stuff with frame rate and stuff like that. Like, I'm not a big frame rate guy, but when systems that have the capability to run at massive, like, really good frame rates and developers just don't utilize it, that's what really irks me.
Yeah, I agree completely, because, like, I can survive on 30 frames a second, but, like, 60 just feels so much more fluid to
Well, I
me.
think 60 FPS now should be standards for these consoles.
Realistically, yeah.
I would agree, because even if you have to, like, turn down graphics, like, I'm fine with that. Like, things look good, and I mean, is there room for improvement? Yes, but, like, we're at that point now where even like every step up, you're still going to just see gradual things, but it seems like it's more leaning towards lighting and animation and things like that, not so much like fidelity.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should get into our final little point quickly before we round this all up, if that's okay. So, Destiny 2. Recently, there's been a lot of complaints about Destiny 2. Sorry, who's that guy on the drop rate, Brett?
Yeah, Brett, yeah.
Sorry, mate. Bit of bad news coming your way.
I doubt he's hearing this. I really doubt he's hearing.
To be honest, I haven't heard from him in about 3 months. I don't know where he is, but
neither do I.
well, that's comforting news. Lots of people are getting bans on Destiny 2 because of the whole new cheating sort of anti-cheat software that they've got in place to stop cheating or hacking taking place in these games. And it kind of got me thinking, is this like the route we're now going down, how we're now starting to see these new games coming out that obviously have this kind of software in?
I mean, it's kind of been like that for a while, like, but I don't know what they have as far as anti-cheat even, because I don't know.
Have you seen what people have been getting banned from Destiny 2 for using while running the game?
Yeah, wasn't it like a lot of them had to do with like OBS? Like OBS was triggering it basically.
Yeah, they were getting banned for using They even got banned for having the Discord overlay over the game.
That sounds like more like a bug that's probably going to be a nightmare to try and sift through who actually
you
deserves
say
it
that,
or not.
but obviously it's kind of going back to your story earlier with the drop rate in YouTube. But I don't think they've got many people working at the studio or wherever at an office to manually repeal these sort of bans that are taking place.
Yeah, I could see that being an issue, but I wonder if you can, since it's on Battle.net, if you could just submit a ticket that way. That might be a better way to escalate it than try and get in touch with them directly.
I read some stuff, and apparently those bans are not like you can't appeal them, like they're permas.
Holy shit.
Like people have been getting permitted for just having Discord overlay to see who's joining their
yeah, and that is a problem. But is this the new route that we're now seeing?
Probably not, because I don't foresee a lot of people moving away from Steam as far as on PC side. But like to me, it's because I'm biased in the way that like I've dealt with like a lot of MMO launches, and I know Destiny 2 isn't necessarily an MMO, but like things like these do happen. Just I don't know if on a scale to this big. So to me, it seems like they have a lot of like they're gonna have to start going through, and they're gonna have to make exception to the rule. But I didn't really dig too much into it. I was aware it was going on, but I don't know like to what extent. And like I've ran OBS and I've had Discord open, and I just recently completed like what you consider the story of Destiny 2, and now I'm kind of just like gearing up because I think we're going to do a raid video. But for me, it's just been pretty flawless of an experience. I almost wonder, like, A, they're going to have to figure out what caused it, but B, how many of those people actually were, they're just using the Discord and OBS as, like, an excuse and still are running something behind it.
Yeah, that could be another thing. I didn't really think into it that hard, but yeah, they could be running some sort of cheat engine in the background and being like, oh, I can't believe Discord triggered permaban, like...
I mean, just think of like how many people like get banned daily on PUBG. Like, I mean, I've heard like thousands per day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
thanks
It's just
to
like
Twitch.
How do you? It's just that becomes I think that they're gonna have to fix that.
Well, we're now hearing stories that now companies are now taking action to sue cheaters.
Yeah, that's so. I mean, like. I wonder how that would stand up in court. Like I could see like the
cheat man, I can't imagine the judge.
I don't think that would really pass in court. I'm not sure if like, oh man, I'm suing this guy because he
they could say
gave himself
that
100k souls in Dark Souls. Sue this man. Like
no, they could say their argument would probably just be, oh, he broke the somehow like terms and service of the product or something like that. But even so. Do you know how weird it will be in court to go against like fans of your own game?
Well, you'd be so like as a person getting sued, like you have nothing to stand on. You're just gonna get steamrolled because you don't have the money to go up against someone that
No.
big.
And then, do companies also want to do that? Because then, fans of your company will probably get turned off from you because you're suing people who spend their hard-earned money on your games.
Yeah, you're basically suing people that keep you running, basically.
That's a vicious cycle that doesn't seem to have an end at the moment.
Yeah, it's so weird because unlike piracy, like most, we've kind of adapted with piracy, but with cheating, like I'm one of those people that like I have a hard time even like entering in the cheat codes on like Grand Theft Auto. Like I just never feel comfortable even with that. So like it just blows my mind. I don't get why people even do it. Like why is that fun? I just don't.
Cheats are amazing. No, I think the kind of cheats where the developers basically allow you to do it in the first place.
Like, GTA San Andreas cheats, like where it's like type in fat boy to get super fat and stuff like that. That's funny stuff that I'm glad that's in the game. And like being able to spawn yourself into a jet. Like I do all of my Grand Theft Auto cheating after I've completed the main story of the game. Like that's my rule with GTA games. Like once I finish the story of one of them, then I can start going crazy.
I had a friend who got a VAC ban for using wall hacks on Counter-Strike, and I'm just like, why? Like, what was even the point of it?
Dude,
like, I just wanted to check it out,
Dude,
but it's like
all of my friends on CS:GO are VAC banned. Like, all of my friends who play CS:GO are pretty much all of them are VAC banned at this point, just because like someone in their game was using hacks or they were using hacks. Like,
it just gets ridiculous.
People in CS:GO pro tournaments have got VAC banned on stage. Like, it's common knowledge for people cheating in Counter-Strike.
I can't imagine what it would be like on stage though to get bans.
Oh god,
imagine how
you gotta look those
embarrassing
videos
that
up.
could be.
Like, oh god, you're like in an intense final, and then suddenly it's just bang, you're just out the game. Oh, well, speaking of Destiny 2, how is Destiny 2?
I like it a lot, way more than Destiny 1. But I will say that the transition to PC makes it feel like a completely different game. It's a lot more where, I mean, you could be precise like on consoles, but now being able to like line up headshots, the combat just feels so much more fast and kind of. I didn't have the same issues where like I kind of ran into like a brick wall when I played the Xbox version, just because. There's times that you have to be precise, and I just never had that preciseness. To now, I'm so used to using a mouse for aiming that I can just mow through pretty much everything. Like I don't think I had any issue with anything with precision. So it just makes it feel like Destiny already felt like a great shooter, and on PC it just feels like, damn, like how could you top this? Like it's so weird to me. I'm a Destiny 2 fan, but I don't like Destiny. So.
I was actually in a game store with a couple friends yesterday, and I was like, oh, I don't know, I might pick up Destiny 2 eventually to just try it out, see what it's like. And then a guy behind me just goes, oh mate, don't, it's bad, it's just like the first one, it's bad. And I was like, okay, cheers buddy.
Yeah, I mean that's totally valid, and that's why I feel like
so hang on a bit, you admit it's bad.
Well, I mean like it's bad in the sense if you're like, hey, is this gonna be? This really is like a Destiny 1.5. It's just the fact that like the control transition makes it feel like a different game. So it's like.
So it's the controls more than anything else.
Yeah, because like on console they feel the controls feel great, but it's hard to explain. It's almost like if you play Overwatch on console, but then you switch to Overwatch on PC.
Oh my god, I did that
completely. It's just it's so different. They're two different. They're the same game, but they play differently, just based off of how precise you can be.
Overwatch is meant to be played on PC. Like, oh my god,
and I would probably argue that Destiny is meant to be played on PC too, just because it feels so good.
I mean, oh gosh, it's actually amazing how different shooters can be when you move over to PC because of how much more accuracy you've got.
It makes the game a lot more challenging as well.
And like with like Overwatch, like Lucio, like trying to play him on console, like I couldn't do it. But
No,
like
me
he's
neither.
my main on PC.
Like Tracer on console's impossible because she's like a fast character who needs a lot of control.
Which you don't
And,
get that on console.
You don't get the same control on console. It's like, do you remember when they put TF2 on Xbox 360 and PS3 with the orange box?
Yeah.
And that died instantly because it sucked on console.
Well, it wasn't just because of that, but it was also the fact that they didn't even update TF2.
They never updated it.
If you go back and play TF2 on the Xbox 360, it's basically the same as when it came out on PC.
That almost makes me want to like check that out just to see what it was like.
Oh my
then,
god,
because-
TF2 is so different now. Like there's a level system in it now. Like I booted it back up for like the first time in like a year last week, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is a different game.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a shame.
When I opened it up, it was like menus on menus on menus with things flying at me from everywhere, and I was like, uninstall. I'll wait for Team Fortress 2 or Team Fortress 3, I guess at this point.
No,
Which is
that's
never
never
coming out.
If you've heard,
Valve are never gonna make.
I mean,
games
you just
anymore.
have to look at Half-Life 3.
Yeah, I don't think Half-Life 3 will come out, but I still think that we're gonna get something that will be like
Equivalent.
Haven't they pretty much fired everyone who made games there, and they just have the Steam department now?
Well, I mean, if you're gonna kind of dig through rumors, there's like Left 4 Dead 3 is like there's been so much rumors and like kind of like people finding files about that. I could see like to me it's what is their card game coming out? Because it's like the first game that they put out in like forever. What is that? Artifact?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, it would be like, hey, you should. How cool would that be if like they were like, here's Artifact, Team Fortress 3, and Left 4 Dead 3.
Have you seen the video of when they unveiled Artifact at the TI finals for Dota?
With the booing?
Yeah! Oh my god! That video, I've watched that video so many times because you could hear the point where everyone just hearts break.
Yeah.
Because Artifact comes off the screen and they're like, oh, it's so good.
I just constantly find myself being like, oh, I really want to play Team Fortress 2, but I need something that's like the next step because it's too
you can all
confusing now.
stop dreaming that TF3 is going to come out. I mean, we all have to look at Half-Life 2 Episode 3, which the story got revealed by the writer a few months ago.
Okay, well, what if it's Artifact, Left 4 Dead 3, and then
No,
Day of Defeat 2?
Day of Defeat 2. No, Artifact's a card game.
Yeah, I know, but I just because I have a feeling that they're gonna just kind of, if they were to do something, like why not just do something similar to like the Orange Box and just kind of have that one big day.
I mean, it's not out of the question. I mean, Valve are a mental company which kind of just do what they want. So
Yeah, but what
they're
would they
also
call
gonna be-
the Orange
they're all gonna be
Box?
free.
The new one.
the blue
just-
box,
Yeah, they're right there.
the Steam box.
I still think that when they do ultimately release whatever the next Half-Life is, whether it's 3, whether it's something completely different, I still like hope and pray that they just hop in one day, you just open up Steam and it's like Half-Life 3 available now. Like that would just the internet would
They
just
just
lose its
don't
mind.
announce. They just don't say anything, and then suddenly, bam, it's
Yeah.
there.
So
and everyone just loses
the
their
writer
minds.
reveals the story, but then says nothing about it for a year, and then it just drops.
Yes, like that would be so cool, and they're the only company that could probably get away with doing that just because they have so much fucking money.
I
And
don't think,
they're
to be honest
so
with
good
you,
at keeping secrets.
they wouldn't really do that to because the people that were working on episode 3, I don't think the team is there anymore. Like the writer quit 18 months ago.
Yeah, and I don't think you're gonna get like Half-Life 3, but I'm not gonna write off saying that there couldn't be something. You know what I mean? There's
Like, if we're gonna get anything from Half-Life in 2018 or 19, it's gonna be a prequel. Like, there's no way they're gonna continue. I mean, they can't continue the story for Half-Life.
Are you joking?
What? What do you mean?
Half-Life 2 episode 2 cliffhanger. They was
Yeah,
gonna
but
base
back
the
to-
third episode in the Arctic. Like,
But people already know it because it got leaked.
well, it didn't get leaked. It got revealed by the writer himself to basically say that, look, this project's dead.
I don't know, man. Like Valve aren't a company anymore. They're a fucking enigma. Like,
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, like I wouldn't even doubt that like the next Half-Life is going to be VR. You know what I mean? Like it seems like that's.
it'll just be Half-Life 2 in VR. Like,
Yeah.
I'd be down for that.
Well, we've currently been recording for 1 hour and 10 minutes. Well, that's on my audacity.
man. Yeah, do you want to start wrapping things up?
I think it's time to wrap it up.
It's been a good session.
Very, very good. So we talked about a lot this episode.
So yeah, we're back making as much content as we can with the amount of time we have. So
Yeah, but
hopefully
no guarantee that we're going to be putting out stuff every single week at the moment.
But follow us on Twitch because we could be on there.
Yeah, streaming
we're-
your
we
little games. What have you been streaming recently?
I streamed the first bit of Doki Doki Literature Club, which, oh my god, I love that game. I love that game so
Hey,
much.
we're going to be doing a spoiler cast at some point, so I will pull you in for that.
Oh yes.
Because I have so much I want to say, but it's like you just can't even talk about it, and that's the worst part. Because it's like you can't say anything. You just have to be like, but I just want to have one day where Jeremy as well, he's played through it, and I just want to just be like, oh, I just want to talk about it so bad.
Well, yeah, I'm yet to finish that. I know some of the endings, but I don't know which one I'm gonna get. So follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Flashbang Gaming Streams, I think it is.
Yes.
It'll be in the description anyway. You can follow me on Twitter at EdMcDougall99. You can follow Joe where?
At Joe_LGC.
Where can we follow you, Jordan, to see what you're up to?
At I Dislike Jordan.
And you can find all of Jordan and his friends' projects on, what is it, droprate.life for your channel?
Yep, droprate.life.
Can I just ask, when are we coming on?
Hey, now that we are living in a post-Greg wedding world, so it could be any day now. Right now we're setting up the office to be to have the podcast actually be live streamed.
No, I'm
So,
only saying
we
that
like-
because someone commented on the channel saying, are you ever going to get guests on?
Yep.
Yeah, well, mate, we've been waiting 2 months.
Also,
I know.
talking about your podcast, where can they find your podcast?
Oh, haveatyoucast.podbean.com, or I think it's like haveatyoucast.com.
It'll be in the
Or
description.
we put it on YouTube as well.
We're pretty much exclusively a YouTube podcast now because our RSS feed, we can't afford it right now.
And
Yeah,
SoundCloud's
understandable.
just going on to cover. So yeah.
So check out all our episodes. I don't know. We haven't got a burner link for our channel. It's like YouTube. Well, if you're on the channel, you're already on it. So you found it. I've been Edward. That's been Joe. We've been joined by Jordan once again. We will see you guys. at some point in the future. Goodbye.
Goodbye.